Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Draven updated complete guide, of course, for our latest patch. But before we get into any of the content, of course, don't forget to check out Draven's basic guide for his skills, leveling order tips and tricks, as well as some combos that I'll put up in the cards above right now. But with that said, now let's actually get into the loadout. So not much has changed since now in last patch. I will say that there are some variants of this build. So if you take a look at the top players, you will see that firstly, Essence Reaver is an option which I will probably do a video on eventually, and also Blaster is now replacing IE from time to time because Blaster does have some very good burst damage. Now personally, I am still a fan of IE because even though Blaster gives you a lot of burst damage, I think that just the raw AD you get from IE is better in long fights, whereas Blaster is just good to kill that initial person, which of course is useful to get a cash in. But in longer fights, of course, by the time you get to third item, it's probably going to be team fights, right? So I think it's better to just go IE there. So we're going to start off with the Gluttonous Grease first for the AD and the Omnivamp, and then go straight into Collector. Collector, of course, probably the strongest early game crit item, gives you that armor pen as well as that AD, and hopefully helping you to snowball from the early game and then, get fed and go to the rest of your items. Then you go for Bloodthirster, a same amount of AD, a little bit of attack speed, but most importantly, you get Physical Vamp and the Lifeline Shield, right? Both of which are very good for Draven, who likes to, duel it out with people getting that shield, and that Physical Vamp gonna help him out a lot. And then just now, as I mentioned, IE for the extra AD and extra crit damage, and also more reminder for the Armor Pen and the Grievous Wounds. Now, last item normally going to be a defensive option like GA or Maul, something like that. And then for the runes, you do have three options. You can go for either Conquer, Lethal Tempo, or Press the Attack. Now, I used to love going for Lethal Tempo. However, ever since they nerfed Lethal Tempo, I think probably going for Conquer or Press the Attack is just better because these runes have not gotten nerfed, so you probably are going to get more value from them. So I like to go for Conquer, which is going to stack up the AD and give you Omnivamp when it's fully stacked. And Praise the Attack is very useful for laning phase, but does not do as well as Conqueror in the later stages of the game. Now for the loadout, the rest of the runes, sorry, it's very standard. However, I actually chose to take Coup de Grace instead of taking Giant Stare because with Draven, of course, you want those early game cashes and early game kills, so getting the extra damage when people are low on HP is going to come in real handy. And for the spells, Flash and Barrier is probably the best combo you can have. Again, with Barrier, it's very strong in the early game. Hopefully you can use the Barrier to get an early kill before you die yourself so you can get a cash in. But of course, other spells like Exhaust or Cleanse can be good as well depending on the game situation. But with all that said, now let's move on to talking about the gameplay. Okay, so moving on to the gameplay, of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Of course, I will be sure to address them. So we're rocking the ruined Draven skin, which we actually just got from the skin chest from the WoW Pass. And you guys know I normally like to play Draven with aggressive engaged supports, but in reality Draven kind of works with any support. Like you can technically play Draven with a Lulu or a Yuumi as well, because Draven depends a lot on yourself and your own skill, right? Of course, having a support to engage for you will make the job easier. However, Draven can kind of work with anybody, right? As we immediately get poked out by Malphite, who is of course the enemy support. Now, thankfully, Malphite is not really going to be able to do very much outside of just poking. Same with Ezreal. Ezreal, of course, just pokes. Malphite, though, other than the poking, he's not really going to do very much, so he's not the best support in the world. Here, we're auto-attacking, stacking up our Conqueror, catching our X's. Ezreal with very suspicious pathing here. We realize that it's going to be a free kill. We basically run him down. He doesn't even flash. Now, Malphite is going to be the next victim. We have full stack Conqueror. He gets caught by the bubble. We get our last auto attack on right as he flashes, and we get 2 kills as well as 2 cash-ins right at the very start of the game. And this is the kind of start you want if you're a Draven. Of course, this is not going to happen every game. In fact, it rarely ever actually happens. But sometimes, you just get a little bit lucky and you do get those kills. Now, I think Ezreal, like, number one, he didn't flash, right? And number two, like, why is he pathing down towards the river where he has no safety instead of pathing back towards his tower? The moment he pathed towards the river is when I start hardcore committing onto the chase, because I realize that basically even if he flashes over the wall, I can probably flash to follow him and we can probably secure a kill anyways. So very good start for us in terms of the lane. Of course, we get our boots immediately. Off that death, he got absolutely nothing, so we have item advantage. And of course, with Draven, when you get the early game advantage, you can very easily push your advantage and snowball the lane, especially you know, if you don't get ganked and shut down and anything like that. So here you can see we're already pathing aggressively to just go up for those autos, just to keep the pressure up. Of course, we do have to watch out against an Ezreal Malphite lane because they can poke you pretty much very easily. So every time you kind of step up, you do kind of risk getting poked as well, which is exactly what's happening here. Now, thankfully, we actually have a Nami who gives us a decent amount of sustain, getting those autos in. And if possible, you can even try to stack up your Conqueror with those autos. Of course, that is a little bit challenging. Right? Malphite here chooses to try to take the fruit. We get a couple more free autos in because we obviously out-damage how much the fruit heals. So you can see we're just autoing him, and he's actually taking more damage than he's healing. So going for that fruit, not really the most optimal idea. Now there I was trying to get into tower range to get an auto to maintain my Conqueror stats, but that is a little bit challenging. You don't want to overly greed for it. And here you can see we break Ezreal's bone plating. We're going to start working on the tower maybe. Actually, we're not. We're just going to keep on working on the Ezreal. You can see we are trading HP with them pretty aggressively, and we are playing pretty aggressive. But the good news about this is we do have a ward in the Tribush as well as in the river, so we are able to kind of see. Now here Malphite completely getting caught out, gets bubbled. We're going to ult him, finish him off with the ult, and we get a 300 gold cash in. You can see that the kill itself was only 250 gold, but the cash in actually was like 300 gold, so the cash in actually gives us even more gold than the kill itself. And at this point, we get that cash in, and we have a ton of gold, so we're going to reset. We're going to get the collector components, and we don't have any mana anymore, so we really need to get this reset to get back the mana, especially when you're running Conqueror. The attack speed you get from popping the W and the movement speed you get from popping the W is pretty important, so you definitely don't want to don't want to fight when you don't have mana, because you're going to lose out on a lot of power. So now we're back to the lane. We have our components. Ezreal just with a Gluttonous Greaves and like a glove. I'm not sure what he's building for his item, but it's some crit item, it appears. We easily clear the wave, and they're back on the tower. However, this time you have to take note, Lee Sin is now in the area. We're going on to Lee Sin to immediately start doing damage to him. Our jungler is here as well. Nice kick by Lee Sin to disengage. Lee Sin is running for the hills. Once again, we're hitting Malphite over the wall. In comes the Darius from all the way from the other side of the map. Now, unfortunately, we missed some X catches here, so we're in a little bit of a spot of bother. We're going to quickly flash over because everybody's collapsing at this point. Now, Morgana tries to come over to help, but ends up getting collapsed down by Lee Sin and Lucian. Lee Sin and Lucian both pretty low, though, so I'm trying to see if I can chase them down for a kill. Now, unfortunately, Lucian pops the barrier. Now, I have a barrier of my own, but I hold it for a little bit too long and I get bursted down before I can actually pop the barrier, which is definitely a tad unfortunate. However, we do get the collector as well as an additional longsword, and since Darius roamed, Mundo actually gets to farm tower plates for free, and he's basically got all of them tower plates except for one. But of course, I would say that the overall trade that the enemy team got was still pretty decent. I did get a bunch of kills there, of course, in exchange for funneling gold into our Mundo, who really isn't the most valuable in terms of getting gold. Of course, we don't want to underestimate Mundo, though Mundo is a pretty strong champion. But here we're back to our lane, we're back to clearing these minions, and we always want to have that Tribush warded. So in this case, since we're so dominant in the lane, we get a control ward into the Tribush to last indefinitely. Of course, unless we lose control of the lane and then the enemy can clear it. But of course, when you're winning the lane, it's hard. Control ward in Tribush, very good idea, right? So here we get another auto onto the Ezreal. Malphite walks up, and he just AFKs, and he, yeah. So here, Ezreal once again in a little bit of danger. We get a huge damage auto onto him. Now here Malphite pretty much just gives up, right? He's just running straight at our tower, ults under tower, and decides to actually int. This gives me another free cash in. Now, of course, I don't really like his attitude here of just feeding, but I'm not gonna say no to a free cash in right now. Thankfully, it appears after he let off some steam. It seems that he's a lot. He seems that he actually plays the game afterwards. So here, anyways, Lee Sin tries to go in. We get the kill onto Lee Sin. Ezreal tries to exhaust me, and we actually save Nami by killing Lee Sin before Lee Sin can finish her off. And we're in just a very good spot, right? We're 6-1, and our team is doing the dragon. We don't really need to help them with that, so we're gonna secure first tower of the game instead. We're gonna get a reset. Or actually, we're not gonna get a reset because we're very close to getting Bloodthirster, so we don't want to reset until we get the extra like 200 more gold for Bloodthirster. So we're just waiting for the next wave. Now we see Lucian is actually coming here, so yeah, but we don't quite care though. He decides to go in on us. And here he pops the barrier, I pop the barrier as well. He was winning the fight initially, however, the problem with Lucian is once you use your entire combo, which is what he did there, you kind of run out of DPS. You can still auto, but your autos don't do that much damage, so it looked like I was in trouble initially, but the moment he used all his spells and I didn't die, I could just continue to DPS him, and in fact my damage goes up because I have Conqueror, so his damage goes down as the fight goes along and my damage goes up. Of course, that's the nature of burst versus DPS. So he ends up going down, and obviously I get more than enough gold to pick up the Bloodthirster, and from the kill I even get extra gold to get another longsword. So here I'm at the point where I'm basically almost one-shotting minions because I have so much damage, right? You can see I'm almost just one-shotting the minions. So here I'm just pushing in the wave, farming the enemy jungle. Lee Sin hops over here. I'm going to stand behind the Krug, so if he wants the Q, he has to Q the Krug instead of me, which will cause him to lose a lot of damage, and if he does that, I probably get the kill onto him. Speaking of which, he's now coming in. We did manage to get the E off just to disrupt him a little bit. He goes down, Morgana gets the root on Lucian, Lucian dies as well. Ezreal realizes his whole team is dead and now he is running away, and we are able to get in the next wave. Now we get a ward behind us to see if any enemies are coming. In the meantime, we're going to shove in the next wave as well. And enemy respawns are coming through, so we definitely don't want to overstay here. I don't think we can get this tier 2 tower. Maybe we can actually, but it's going to be a little bit risky. Yeah, the whole enemy team is now just showing up, so we use the E to just knock them aside and slow them down, and then we're going to just run away, right? We don't want to greed for that tower and give away a shutdown for no reason. We are so far ahead, we're nearly at 10k gold. You can see enemy team, people with the most gold are Lee Sin and Lucian, both of them just over 6k gold. So we definitely have a huge lead at this point, and as I said, you know, I want to go for the IE because I want those DPS in long fights, although you could argue that you know, the Blaster is also a very good item just because of the extra burst damage. Now, we do have Mundo overextended severely and does go down. I pop the spinning axes to just try to do a little bit of damage to the enemy team. Heal actually saves the Morgana, and here Malphite is getting caught again. He is running away though, but we do get the cash in. A huge goal injection for us. Ezreal misses that Q. We're just going to clear these minions. And honestly, with how fed I am and with the fact that I have two teammates here to help me out, I don't think I'm in very much danger unless I get kicked in the tower by Lee Sin or something like that. Otherwise, you can see I'm just going to step up and auto. I do think I will do a lot of damage to them, so I'm not too scared. Morgana gives me the black shield. I don't think that is very necessary. I don't see who is going to CC me at this moment. So here we're even going to be able to force the tower, and with that tower down, we can maybe try to run them down. Ezreal dies, or doesn't die actually, lives on 1 HP, but Lucian's going to pay for his sins instead. We go unstoppable. Darius now coming in, hooks me, but my whole team is here to back me up. He gets chain CC'd, my Bloodthirster shield does pop, but I'm absolutely a-okay. Now Malphite realizes he can't really do anything here, runs for the hills. I'm going to get a reset, probably complete my IE at this point, and we just keep the snowball rolling. Right? This is a very classic Draven game where you start the game off with some early kills and you just snowball the rest of the game. Right? This is pretty much a dream scenario for Draven. And on the way over, we're just gonna farm the Krug as the Gromp as well. Next dragon is spawning. Now I'm not sure why Mundo is trying to 1v3 the enemy team here, but he is trying to run for his life and is doing the enemy Krugs on the way out. Now here I'm just hovering to see if I need to help him. Malphite sees me and flashes away immediately, which is definitely logical. Now here, instead of helping my team do the dragon, we're basically just zoning the enemy team off of the dragon. Slash forward, get the kill onto the Lucian. Gonna kill Ezreal as well. Mundo secures that kill. And if the enemy team are fighting us, they can't be contesting the dragon, right? And we're also just killing them, so just getting more kills and just shoving them off of the dragon is just a good thing to do at this point. It's a win-win situation. Pantheon can easily do it by himself so long as no one disturbs him. And here we're going to start working on the tower. We're doing like 400 damage per auto on the tower pretty much, and we destroy it with no issue at all. Mid lane tower, same situation. We're just going to walk over and start hitting it. And I realize here I'm doing so little damage to the tower because there's no minions. So I'm going to have to, for some reason I tank towers. I'm going to reset the tower aggro and just finish the tower off afterwards. Malphite ults in. Now this is a fight that I don't really like because we're really far overextended. We got a lot of gold. We can just look to reset. We do get the kill onto Malphite, though Lee Sin tries some heroics, has to flash away, but we really shouldn't be overextending here anymore. We really need to base and spend our gold, so we don't want to like overextend in the enemy base. Now, Mundo, he is pretty tanky. Now, Lucian here just ignores me, by the way. Like, he knows he can't kill me, so he just ignores me and tries to go for my team. So I actually complete my reset. I'm now at 100% crit. 14k gold. I'm now just walking up to try to help my team, who are getting run down by Darius and Lucian. But Darius and Lucian, of course, they realize they can't really chase into our jungle, so they are going to back off right after that. Now, someone on the enemy team is doing the Baron somehow. Not sure why, not sure how, but that is going to prompt us to come over and, you know, see what's up. Here I'm not doing the Baron, I'm just using the Baron to keep my spinning X stacks, because of course you need to auto something to keep Draven's X spinning, otherwise it's just gonna fall off and you're gonna have to pop the Q again. So now that we've actually gone the enemy inhibitor on the opposite side, now it's actually a good time to just do Baron, because the enemy team has to deal with those waves in the top side, and I don't think the enemy team is going to contest the Baron anyways. We get the Baron without any issue. Lucian actually comes over from behind the wall to pop the ulti, and he's running away using the gate. Pantheon is not able to catch him. I guess pretty nice move by the Lucian. He did try, but Lucian out not very easy to steal Baron with unless the enemy jungler messes up the smite. And now we're going to continue pushing in, and we're going to go for that last inhib tower that's still standing. There we go, we get the last inhib. Now Ezra, I'm not sure why he's walking up, but we kill him in 3 autos. He even makes it to the Nexus, and we kill him anyway. Now at this point, we look like we're in a game-ending position, but the Nexus shield is still huge because it's only 14 minutes into the game, right? So here, Lee Sin tries to go in, pops the stasis. He's not going to get out. We finish him off again, and we are tearing through the Nexus, and we're just going to end the game at this point. Like so. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the gameplay. I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.